Welcome to the XFO Intelligence Podcast, where we explore the strategies and ideas shaping the future of family capital. Today, we're moving beyond a discussion of financial assets to what might be the most valuable and most elusive inheritance of all,
Mm.
a family's legacy of thinking. I'm your host, Isabelle, and I'm joined by David, who is a strategist specializing in the intersection of family governance and technology. David, it's just great to have you.
It's a real pleasure, Isabelle. This is a topic that is, I think, fundamentally redefining multi-generational success.
So let's dive right in. The phrase legacy of thinking is so evocative, but what does it actually mean, in practical terms for a family office principal?
In practical terms, it's about shifting the entire focus of inheritance from the what to the why and the how.
Okay.
For decades, legacy was all about transferring the what, the business, the stock portfolio, the real estate. A legacy of thinking, on the other hand, is about transferring the intellectual architecture that built it all.
Right.
We're talking about the founders' risk appetite, their decision-making models, their core values, and just their unique way of seeing the world.
It sounds like you're trying to create a replicable system out of wisdom, but many people would say wisdom is completely intangible.
They would, and, traditionally they'd be right. But we now see it through a clearer lens. We often call it the 4 pillars of capital. Financial capital is just one pillar. The others are intellectual capital, that's the experience and knowledge you mentioned, social capital, the family's reputation, their networks, and cultural capital, the shared story and values. A legacy of thinking is the blueprint that actively constructs and maintains those last 3.
Wow.
And those are the very things that protect the first one, the financial one.
This really strikes at the core fear behind that old proverb of shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations.
Exactly.
You're suggesting the antidote isn't a better trust structure, but a better transmission of intellect.
Precisely. That proverb isn't a financial warning, it's a cultural one.
Hmm.
Families don't fail because the money runs out. They fail because the thinking that created and sustained the money dissipates. By focusing on the intellectual legacy, you're not just giving your heirs a fish. You're not even just teaching them to fish.
Right.
You're giving them the master map of the entire ecosystem with all the wisdom to ensure it thrives for their children.
You've led us perfectly to the next critical point, which is the challenge of transmission. I mean, how do you pass down something as nuanced as intuition?
Yeah, exactly. Historically, we've tried through family meetings and, written constitutions, but that knowledge so often remains tacit. It's unspoken and incredibly hard to codify.
And this is where the conversation pivots to technology, specifically augmented intelligence. So how does AI solve a problem that is so fundamentally human?
By augmenting, not replacing that human element. Think of it as a tool for translation. It can ingest decades of a family's data, memos, board meetings, even personal letters, and start to identify the unwritten rules, the patterns in the founder's decision-making.
Wow.
It makes their gut feeling explicit and transferable.
That's such a powerful idea. Can you walk us through what that actually looks like in practice?
Certainly. Imagine creating a digital twin of the founder's investment philosophy. A next-gen family member facing a volatile new market could essentially ask the system, how would our matriarch have evaluated the risks and opportunities here? Now, the AI wouldn't give a simple buy or sell order. Instead, it would surface her core principles, her emphasis on debt-to-equity ratios, her skepticism of overly complex derivatives, her belief in investing in community, all backed by data from her actual past decisions.
Wow. So it's not a rigid rule book. It's an interactive playbook. It literally turns the family archive from a dusty museum into a dynamic flight simulator for financial stewardship.
That's a perfect analogy. And the augmented part is so key. The AI provides the historical analysis, the patterns, all the data-driven insights.
Right.
But the family council, the next-gen leaders, they are the pilots who have to make the final decision. This creates a powerful dialogue between the time-tested wisdom of the past and the dynamic realities of the future,
Yeah.
ensuring the legacy evolves instead of just stagnating.
So to bring this all together, the architecture of a truly enduring legacy isn't built on financial assets alone.
Not at all.
It's built on the framework of thinking that created them. And by codifying this intellectual capital, using this augmented intelligence to make it a living, interactive force,
Yes, exactly.
you can build a system of resilience that lasts for generations.
That's the ultimate goal. The financial wealth is the outcome.
Right.
The legacy of thinking is the engine, and by preserving and enhancing that engine, you ensure the family enterprise doesn't just survive, it continues to thrive and create new value.
David, this has been an incredibly insightful framework. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective today. Now, here's a question we'd like you to think about. If you had a tool that could perfectly capture your unique decision-making framework and investment philosophy, what is the single most important principle you would want to ensure is passed on, not as a rule, but as a guiding star for future generations?